What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm going to be back today with more Grand War action. Today we're going to do 1-6. Now, there is a slight caveat to this team. Now, we're going to run the standard water team. Really no questions, nothing quite too crazy there. The one thing you do want to pay attention to this team, and this is a massive thing to pay attention to with this team. Note that I'm running the Water Haruhime, the one that recently got rerun and got a big buff. I'm running her on the front, and I am going to go ahead and run Wealth here, basically to more or less accommodate that. Wealth is going to go ahead and give us 25% single target damage, and Haruhime is going to give us a big defensive buff. Now, let's go ahead and jump in. I don't really need to talk about the rest of the team. I've covered this team ad nauseum on this channel. If you have any questions about this, please refer back to the other Grand War videos. I've used this team almost repeatedly, even where they're not, all that applicable. And honestly, this is literally just a repeat of the team that I use to body 7th zone. Just, like I can auto run 7th zone and it's not a problem. This team is hilarious for that. Now, Haruhime is going to come out of the gate with her skill 1. That's going to give everyone physical and magic resistance plus 40 and endurance plus 20. And believe me, that actually is going to come in handy. While we're taking zeros here, when this opponent buffs their stats, they become pretty hardcore. Even for some of the healing and some of the defenses we're going to have, this unit becomes pretty scary, even with this big defensive buff. Now, obviously, I could throw my assist on that debuffs strength and magic. That is an opportunity. I haven't done it, but, that is another thing. So we'll get a little further in the fight. We'll talk about that when it starts happening. Now, I'm going to go ahead and buff, once again, technically it's a debuff. Single target resistance is going to get debuffed. Everybody else is going to move on to their skill 2, which I believe in most of these cases is a big debuff. There we go. So, at the end of this turn, we'll go ahead and talk about all the debuffs and everything that's in play. Golden. Now we've got Haruhime. Haruhime is going to buff Dawn Wind. That's going to give herself 33% of Seigei's charge. Everybody already has that, so I'm not really worried about that. Mikoto does that on turn 1. The main thing to take away from this is that that's going to give us an AoE defensive buff, basically. It's going to protect some incoming damage on all AoE attacks. And on top of that, and this is probably the biggest part about that, this is going to give us a little bit of healing every turn and is also going to replicate our buffs, and that's going to be really important. Now, Mikoto does too. Her skill 2 will give us status debuffs plus 2 turns, but she doesn't do buffs. I think I said she does buffs. She doesn't do buffs, she only does debuffs, which is important. I mean, we need our debuffs replicated. If you'll note here, we have magic resistance down 40, 1 unit resistance down 25, water down 40, agility down 35, and physical resistance down 40. So this is really important. So I need to keep all those in play. So that skill 3 with Mikoto is going to be really important. But Haruhime is going to be needed to replicate all the buff skills that everybody's got. And that is going to help out immensely. Immensely. Now, I do believe... So that is one thing to consider here. The buff from the Water Haruhime did fall off. And that is kind of a bad thing. That is kind of a hole in this. I knew it was possible, but I'm going to try to continue on without it anyway, because this team is maximum broken and is good. So I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm going to go ahead and do this buff, because that is going to give us a little bit of heal rate. It's going to give us a little bit of counter rate, which is going to help Haruhime basically defend us in battle. Now, nobody else is going to come off their skill 3 until we need to basically rebuff them. And I don't believe we need to in this fight. I think this fight is what it is. But the main thing to kind of take away here. All right, Haruhime. Girl, you need to counter. Why are you not countering? Does he hit with an uncounter rate or something? She does not counter him worth a damn. So we're going to move Haruhime on to her skill 3. That's going to go ahead and give us... There you go, girl. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now she's finally countering. Now we've got a few things to worry about in this world. All right. Now, she will need a rebuff on turn 6. If you come down here and you notice that Dawn Wind has 1 turn left, whenever it has 1 turn left, you need to buff it at that point because the extra actions don't actually take place until the following turn. So basically, that 1 turn is going to expire this turn. If I don't rebuff it, that's a turn we have without healing. That's a turn we have without buff replication. So we really need to rebuff that this turn. And since we're working up to a quad SA, it's really not that big of a deal. Everybody else just stays on their skill 3, and we move on. Now, one thing that you could do here, and I'm not doing it, and I'm not honestly tremendously worried about it, if you're having some concerns about the amount of hits you're taking. See, my thing is I'm worried that I'm not going to take enough damage. That's going to sound weird. So I wanted the Water Haruhime's defensive buff to expire by the time this Haruhime started doing her thing. So I kind of built the team so that the Water Haruhime's buff, the defensive buff, runs out at the end of turn 3. So turn 4, it's not there anymore. And we only have the AoE defensive buff from this Haruhime. So it was very strategic. Now, a lot of you guys with teams that are not max limit broken, you might want to go ahead and find a unit that does that defensive buff, and you might want to replicate that by putting Mikoto in slot 4 and this Haruhime in slot 1. It's one minor difference you can make. Then Haruhime can replicate the defensive buff, and you'll be in good sorts. If you can manage that, absolutely perfect. The other half of the equation is if you're still taking too much damage, your units aren't max limit broken, then the other option that you've got is there's plenty of assists that will give you -20. I think -20 is the tops currently right now. -15, -20 strength and magic. So you could debuff the strength, you could debuff the magic. I don't recollect what kind of attacks they are, to be totally honest. It is a phantasma. But, you know, go ahead and debuff both stats just to be on the safe side, and you'll be fine. If you do both the defensive buff and the assist level strength and magic debuff, you'll be golden. In fact, the only reason I'm not doing that here is because I feel like they'd be taking zeros, and then I wouldn't be getting counters, and I wouldn't be able to kill this foe as quickly as I'd like to. So that's just kind of a rundown of why I've chosen to do it this way. Now I'm going to go back here to skill 3 with everybody, and I'm basically going to do that until turn 9. Once we're on turn 9, we're going to do a quad SA, and we're going to kill him. In fact, I probably could do a triple right now and kill him, but I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to play it safe, take it to turn 9, and, you know, see where we go from there. So I want to emphasize right now with the team that I've got built up here, I'm not changing anything, everybody's doing skill 3 there. We are taking a good bit of damage here. Now, I need Haruhime to heal Aisha. Good job. There we go. All right, and perfect. Now let's just do a quad SA, and we're good to go. Now, there are situations in which Haruhime might fail to counter, might not heal a unit when they get low. Don't get discouraged, just rerun it. It doesn't take long. It's super simple, super straightforward. 1.9 mil. Aisha's going to hit for 2.7 mil. Mikoto didn't even get her attack off. So yeah, I could have done a triple on turn 7 and won it too. So there you guys go. Super easy, super straightforward. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. There's your easy S clear. Guys, if you were not sold on the water team at this point, there's literally nothing I can do. It's just the best team in the game. Period, end of discussion. Fight me. I mean, it is January 3rd, 2022. Water is the best team in the game. That probably will change in the next 6 months. It will probably be a much better team by the time some people are coming back around to this video later on. If they ever rerun this, like they'll probably might rerun this in May or something like that. But if they ever rerun this, and you're like, look at this going, dude, water sucks now. It was 6 months ago, guys. Power creep's a thing. But for now, they are just the best. Like, comment, share, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.